So we're gonna get into some topics. We have some things that, we talked about the whole Dolphins situation with Tua, and it was kind of weird when he got up. It looked like it was, I mean, his head just completely hit the turf.
Yeah, it was a weird situation because he got kind of just shoved a little bit at the end, and
Nah,
and the defensive player got the penalty for it. You watch it again; it doesn't look like he did anything bad, but it was late, so you can understand the penalty. But he really just bounced his head
right off the turf.
right off the turf, and you know, it, you see guys get hit hard, and you see guys get rolled up on their ankles and all these things, and it's like, oh, that looks bad. But man, it's a little scarier when you see a guy,
Like with a head injury.
yeah, where he gets up and just starts stumbling around, and you see teammates have to come and try to hold him up, and it's
Right.
like, man, this guy, is this guy gonna be all right? And then they take him to the locker room, and then now obviously the whole, you know
Was it a
yeah,
concussion?
was it a concussion? Did the team follow protocols correctly? What's going on with that? How is he able to get back in the game so quickly and all this stuff? And
Right.
yeah, it's tough to watch really any player go through that kind of situation.
Yeah.
But then yeah, there are questions about that because that's something that everyone watching the game is, you see
Concerned
that,
about.
right?
Yeah.
And you're concerned, like, oh man, is this guy gonna be okay? What happened here? Then you see him back in the game. Not to mention he comes back in the game and they win the game, right? But they have protocols for a reason. They have things that they need to follow, and
Yeah,
um,
it's very concerning considering that this is not a contact sport, it's a collision sport.
mhm.
There's tons of injuries where players have been paralyzed, players have been they're a lot of head trauma, a lot of things like that. So, and when he got up, when you have a back injury, and what's kind of odd is, I mean, granted, there's a first time for everything, but Tua doesn't have a history with his back. He has a history with his hips, with other injuries, but not anything with his back. And for that to kind of happen, and usually you'll feel it most likely like flare up a little bit, maybe before the game, maybe during the week. There wasn't any reports of it. For him to get up and then just go down like that, and it's kind of like a woozy kind of look. It's like
Mhm.
it's not a good look. It just looked like he just got the lights knocked out of him, and then they're like, "All right, let's sit him out for a quarter. Let Teddy Bridgewater go to work, and then we'll see how he feels." Maybe he's covering up for them with the whole back situation, but
Mhm.
again, I mean, I personally wouldn't cover for them. But
Yeah, I think he is covering for them, saying it was his back. I mean, when you see him get up like that, that doesn't look like a back injury to me.
nah,
And
not at all.
to be honest, it doesn't look like a back injury to anybody. That's why it's being looked into, right? And it clearly looks like it's a head injury. Like
Nah,
you said, we've seen guys get injured badly. We've seen people like Ryan Shazier go out of the game. Granted, that's a different situation where
right.
he could barely walk after that and has to rehab. But we've seen even guys in who finished their careers in Junior Seau, right? An all-time great football player, and the thought is that the trauma to his head caused him to, kind of lose it a little bit, and he ends up taking his own life after a bunch of problems. So,
Right.
it's something worth looking into. But yeah, the it seems pretty clear to me he's covering for the Dolphins. Maybe not so much because he wants to cover for them. I don't know really how his relationship is with the Dolphins. I mean, especially after all the trade rumors and all that type of stuff. But
Right.
just you almost have to just for your team at that point, right?
Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna say? Oh
Especially a
no,
game like that
yeah,
where you're in it, really.
he probably wanted to get back in the game. He was probably on board with it, and so now when they go to get in trouble, he tries to
Cover up for them
cover
a
up
little
for
bit.
them and for himself, right? Even though at the end of the day, they kind of expect players to want to play, and it's the organization's job to hold them back. So it's not like he could really get in trouble for wanting to get back in there. But
Right.
yeah, it's just a tough situation, and it remains to be seen how that will unfold. But yeah, definitely a concerning thing for Tua, and something to keep an eye on for really everybody around the league to see how they start handling these kind of situations.
Yeah.